in the GTA is this? Oh no, this shit trash, man. He gonna have to go back to the old name, Gamer 23, and please tell me that he ain't doing the same thing. Weren't you like crying 2 weeks ago? Like, I feel like he's on them depressed episodes, man. Look at, he got his bike right there, and yet for some reason he's off it, looking into the sunset. PlayStation has finally brought out those exclusive games back. You know, I mean, all it took was a Wolverine release date. You know, the funny thing is, I've had somebody tell me that in the comment section, and now look at as to what happened. He changed his channel name. Maybe I figured he'd be different. No. Mr. Brother Jeremy's still doing the same thing, bro. I mean, at this point, you know what? But I do know one thing that stayed exclusive to your channel. That cough.
In what is the remains of Xbox and the path that gets you for these suckers finally, for something finally to click.
Once a sucker, always a sucker, man. Didn't you tell people that none of this stuff even matters? And the funny thing is, you guys want to claim that people pick up the PS5 for exclusives, but yet time and time again, the software sales that are at an all-time low. Bluepoint Studios literally got closed down for making exclusives for your platform. Final Fantasy was exclusive, and now it's multi-plat because they have told you guys that strategy doesn't work anymore, and you guys are still advocating for exclusives, saying that it demands competition, it makes the gaming industry better. That was how it was back then, and that's because those systems had different architecture. It was a lot harder to develop a game for N64 and PlayStation 1. But if you notice, ever since the consoles have been practically the same in hardware, we don't really see that anymore.
They had well, damn, maybe we shouldn't do this no more. Maybe we shouldn't do this no more. This everyone now I could play on PC and play all of the games, and now I could play with my friends on Xbox and I'm on PlayStation. Sucker. When you kill the incentive to go out and buy said console because said console no longer has any exclusives, what's the reason to go out and buy that junk?
But the point is the fact that nobody cares. That's not stopping people from buying Xbox. That's not stopping people from buying PlayStations, because if that was the case, then you have to explain as to why Square went back to the multi-platform strategy. Then you also have to explain as to why Bluepoint Studios no longer exists. If exclusives work in today's gaming demographic, then you will need to provide evidence of where it actually is working. See, the problem is with you ponies, you can't. Helldivers 2 did better on PC. Stellar Blade did better on PC. Those weren't exclusive. So when you guys sit there and say, oh, exclusives is the reason why we have so much competition in game, what competition is there? All these companies is doing is making money off memberships, like I've told you before, and they care more not about the games, but the ecosystem. That is what's important to these companies. You guys think Nintendo's making money off selling you games? Yes, they are a little bit, because they don't fund that much into the budget of their titles, but most of that money's coming from Nintendo Switch Online. Same thing with Xbox Live, and same thing with PlayStation Plus. That is where the money's coming from. You guys still don't get it. This has nothing to do with exclusive games. And the funny thing is, Sony's like, okay, we'll just sit back, let Xbox. I mean, at this point, you are an Xbot, because that's what you're going to be playing on PlayStation. The days of Sony pumping out their own games is at an end. Why do you think it takes Sony so long to want to push games out for y'all? Because they're afraid that if they release a video game, that the potential rate of it failing is at an all-time high.
Pray up and down that this was a good thing for gaming, but now Sony is like, well, hold on.
There it goes.
We should pull back a little bit. And this was something that I think came out last week, but it wasn't confirmed from PlayStation. You still living in years. I don't care what nobody gotta say. This is something that absolutely needed to happen. I just don't understand people's logic. Okay, does it make it easier for us? Yes.
No, it doesn't. Because now you're gonna have to pay for these games. No, it doesn't. Now you're gonna have to convince 99% of the people that bought a PS5 for third party in Fortnite to have to buy these exclusive games on your platform. See, you guys have no argument. You're like, damn, Game said that's true. Oh, it's easy for us now. Oh, no, it's not. It's actually a lot harder. Because guess what? There's not a lot of you to support these AAA games on your own platform. That's why Sony has went back and decided to do AA's. Because if a AA sells at $1 million, it's a successful game. I know it's crazy, right? So they have went back to the PlayStation 1 budgets of their games because they can't afford to put out a AAA, even though they're out here pushing this powerful PS5 Pro with pixel technology and FSR for Super Saiyan 4.
If you no longer have to get an Xbox or a PlayStation because all of the games is on PC, I've even been taking advantage of this junk. It's literally why I barely use my PS5 today. Okay. I have been gaming more.
So you just admitted that PlayStation 5 is trash.
My gaming PC over this past year and a half than I literally am a PC gamer now. Me! Console gaming, yes, it's more accessible, and that's why console gaming, I don't feel like it's going nowhere. But we were on a path to where people started to look at PlayStation and most definitely Xbox like, yo, should I go out and get this or should I just get like a good gaming PC? Because
they're not thinking that. See, that's what you don't understand. Those casual gamers are going to play consoles regardless if PC is a better option for them. The point is that if Sony had their games available, see, what y'all don't even realize, the only reason why Sony might potentially be doing this is because of Xbox's new platform. What they want to do, they want to be able to secure. They don't really care because they'll go back to putting games on PC, but they have to secure that ecosystem. If Xbox comes out with a platform and PlayStation comes out with a platform, right, at least from what I'm hearing, Microsoft is going to push for free online as well. And all they're really doing is pushing Game Pass. That would combat with Sony because people will look at the Xbox and then instead of supporting them for playing their third-party titles, they will go to their competitor with Game Pass, like Call of Duty. These are the games that they like to play. And Microsoft is offering it through a subscription service, offering it through freedom with Steam, offering it with freedom with everything. And people will look at, like, for example, if you see a PlayStation 6 and an Xbox PC at $1,000, which one are you really going for? Let's keep it 100. You're going for that Xbox, especially considering if those PlayStation games was coming to Steam. Those PlayStation dudes was going to go get the new Xbox. That's why Sony's like, no, we got to pull back with this exclusivity strategy because at that point, the Xbox will look more appealing. This is all. Have you noticed ever since we've been hearing about Magnus, now all of a sudden Sony's thinking about pulling out exclusive. Now, when Sony secures, see, y'all don't get how this works. When Sony secures the install base going into PlayStation 6, I can guarantee they'll have no problem putting those games right back on PC. You're like, what games do you? Yes, they will. Because they have to secure that ecosystem. They have to secure that PlayStation Plus member. They cannot let that member go. They need to maintain it. You get what I'm saying? I say, people are going to be like, yeah, GameStar, I see what you're saying. Sony don't care that the game's on PC because if they did, they would have never put those games there in the first place. Didn't Sean Layden say we wanted to do it back in the PS1, but there just wasn't a market for it. So it's not that Sony does not want to do it. Sony is just making sure that they can secure your purchase. I guess you could say console purchase, so you can continue to give them money and they can continue to hustle you off 30%. That is all it is. Sony need to keep that 30% going. If you buy microtransactions, if you buy third party, even if you ain't buying exclusives, Sony has to guarantee that you're giving them that 30% money. That's all it is. And I can guarantee you, if they try to secure that same install base with the 92 mil and transfer it to PS6, they will put games back on PC. That's what they want to do. But as of right now, initially, with their platform potentially coming up, and Xboxes, they have to do these things. Because what you're doing is making the Xbox more appealing. You get what I'm saying? I know real gamers will see what I'm saying, but you already know these fanboys ain't. So, like I said, let the fanboys be fanboys.
Because one, the consoles are just not as powerful as PC, and PC was starting to get all of the console exclusives on there.
Most people ain't even playing powerful games. People on PC still playing Minecraft, Counter-Strike. I mean, Fortnite is not even that graphically impressive. I mean, if you think about it, most people are not playing graphically demanding games. NBA 2K looks very similar to the PS4 version, just with a little bit more sweat on LeBron James on his jersey. I mean, people are not really playing demanding games. Look at the game. Roblox, that's demanding? You're like, damn, games. I see what you say. Exactly. What demanding games are you talking about? You can play these games, I mean, should I say, even on a phone, for crying out loud, which is what a lot of these casuals are doing.
Platform. So, you look at the state of Xbox and what they've been doing for years now, how exclusives don't matter to them at all no more. Now, Halo is on PlayStation. Forza is on PlayStation. Freaking Starfield is coming to PlayStation. All their freaking...
I thought y'all didn't like Starfield. Now, all of a sudden, they like it. You see what I'm saying? See, you guys are not even consistent in what you said. Like, even when Hellblade 2 came to Xbox, I did try it out through Game Pass. I didn't like it. I just don't like Hellblade. You know what I mean? I bought the first one when it was on sale for $3. Never really got into it. I think the first one is better. But Hellblade, I'm just not into it. It stayed consistent no matter which platform the game was on. See, the problem is you guys like these games. You just don't like the fact that they're not on your platform. You just spilled the beans, brother Jeremy.
Big games that they once was tied to the Xbox brand are now on PlayStation. Look at the freaking state of Xbox, bro. What is Xbox today? Xbox's brand and image literally is at an all-time low. The joint has no identity whatsoever. You mean to tell me that Sony didn't see this and be like, well, damn, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do something different and revert back.
Hey, what Sony's doing is nothing different than what Nintendo's doing. But the problem is, you PlayStation gamers think you're Nintendo, and this is going to be the rude awakening of y'all. Because guess what? Even Nintendo gamers know your audience don't buy exclusives, bro. Y'all don't. Even Nintendo gamers don't, but only for select titles that they enjoy. And like I said, so even with some of Nintendo's games, I would recommend expanding on that notion too. Stop gatekeeping F-Zero, make the game multi-plat, give the game to everybody, put online, same thing with games like Star Fox. Even Nintendo, because, I mean, as you look at it, guys, even though y'all say Nintendo gamers buy exclusives, they buy very particular ones. PlayStation, they buy very particular ones. So you guys don't buy every exclusive. You guys got to stop lying to yourself, because you guys know you don't. And I think rational Nintendo gamers would agree. Where's your Kid Icarus? Where's all these other Nintendo IPs that Nintendo has that they don't make games for? Because you know what? There's just not, some Nintendo gamers just don't care about them. It is what it is. So same thing with PlayStation, but the difference is Nintendo does have some breadwinners while PlayStation practically has barely any. Okay? You got what? God of War, you got Intergalacto from Naughty Dog. We'll see how well that does. Wolverine, we'll see how these licensed games do for Sony. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to your own titles like Infamous and Resistance, nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about your games. Nobody. So what are you bragging about? Sony bringing back exclusive games. Okay, they bringing back exclusive games that y'all weren't buying on PlayStation 5 in the first place. That's why they weren't confident to make God of War Ragnarok a PS5 exclusive, instead made it cross-gen, because unlike you, PS4 gamers actually buy games, and y'all didn't.
A little bit. This ain't rocket science, bro. This is competition at the end of the day. And competition is that you want to talk about what's better for us all? It's better for us all to play everywhere. No, you know what's better for us all? Competition.
Yeah, and look what competition got Blue Point Studios closed down. Look what competition has done for a lot of these studios that can't make enough money on these big projects that they're working on. A closed studio. So when you say competition is good, don't you think Gamer 23, or should I say Brother Jeremy, that it would be better if Blue Point Studios ported their games on the Switch 2, PC, and Xbox than just being closed down? Would you rather agree with that? Because that completely goes against your whole competition narrative. I think a lot of gamers would. Because a lot of people are crying that studio got closed down because of exclusives. Which you guys keep saying competition's good, and now we got one less studio in the gaming industry. See, that's the problem with fanboys. Y'all don't look at gaming. And I tell you this right now, I would prefer Microsoft to put games everywhere and still see these franchises exist, especially if I'm a huge fan of them. So you ponies used to be, I don't know, some Nintendo gamers were like this because I used to talk to them. Y'all would see Mario go under than to want to see Mario on another platform. That to me is not a real gamer. If you're a gamer and you say that, you're not a real gamer. So you would rather see Killzone, Resistance, and all these PlayStation IPs go under because of some exclusivity narrative instead of saying, you know what, maybe if these games are multi-plat, put them out for a new audience, put them out for Nintendo gamers, let them enjoy it. Sony could probably do well by doing that. And these games still be around, but you guys would rather prefer for the studio to close down, for the games to get canceled, and all that other nonsense, all because it makes you feel prideful because you got an exclusive. You just proved my argument. Exclusivity has done nothing for gaming, but cancel studios and all that.
When PlayStation is going hard, when Xbox is keeping PlayStation on their freaking heels, when Nintendo is going hard, why do you think the best generation of gaming that we've had was the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube? All three of them suckers was damn near killing it.
People weren't buying games, though. They still weren't buying exclusives. Even back then, nothing has really changed, guys. I want you guys to be honest. Nothing has really changed since then. Madden, 2K, well, 2K wasn't as popular as it is now. It kind of popularized during the 360 because NBA Live was doing garbage. So what I'm saying to you guys, people was always buying select titles. Actually go back and look at the sales metrics and the software of the PS2. And you'll be like, damn, games weren't even passing 4 or 5 million. You know what I mean? They really weren't.
Only thing GameCube didn't really have was like, you know, they had bad third-party support. But GameCube was an amazing console. Xbox was an amazing console. They came on the freaking scene. PlayStation 2, do I even have to say anything? Like, that is what's better for us all. When everybody is on their A game saying...
But that's not working. That's not going to work in today's demographic. Because even those games back then barely seen any success. That's why we don't see them anymore. And you have to understand, free-to-plays is what destroyed the concept of paying for video games. Free-to-plays has also destroyed the concept of where it means to play on a platform. Free-to-plays. That's what it is, guys. You guys are fighting the wrong fight. If you got a problem, you need to go on Fortnite and call these guys casuals and a bunch of losers. But no, that is your enemy. Not Xbox, not Nintendo, not PlayStation, those gamers. That's what your problem needs to reside with. I'm not saying they're going to care because they really don't. They're going to continue to buy their little, Sabrina Carpenter skins and Nicki Minaj skins and Travis. They don't care about what you have to say. But my point is that is the enemy. You guys are out here fighting amongst each other over nothing. What are you guys fighting for? Because at the end of the day, there ain't enough people to buy your games on either platform.
So I belong here, and this is why. So, for me, you want to call me Unk all of you want to. I guess Sony is now Unk. They are reverting back to things that they really never should have gotten away from. Never. But y'all suckers leave y'all thoughts and comments down in the comments section.
Now you have to ask yourself, why did Sony do it in the first place? Ding, 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 ding. Good answer, Carl, because there just wasn't enough of you guys buying these games on PlayStation. Just imagine in a world if Helldivers 2 did not go to PC. That game might have been shut down. PC single-handedly saved that game. So when you guys sit there and say multi-platform is not good for gaming, there's so many ways where I see it has been beneficial. Why you think Sony's pushing that with a lot of their live service and subscription games? Because the more people playing it, especially because those games are very expensive to make, the more people playing it, the more they can keep the game. I mean, it's sad because, look at games like High Guard. That game is done in 45 days? You feel me? Multiplayer. At the end of the day, guys, it's bad for gaming in general. If it's bad for free-to-plays now, which you don't even have to buy the game anymore, and those games are failing, that just shows you that people have already resided with their franchises, which means that they don't want to go to another game. If a gamer played Fortnite, they're going to stay on Fortnite. It's like that MMORPG stuff they had. You play World of Warcraft, you're going to stick to World of Warcraft. If you play Final Fantasy 14, you're going to stick with that. You don't want to change. You don't want to change. You just want to stay there. That's what the gamer is doing now. If you're an NBA 2K annually player and you want to play the My Park, and people don't even play the heads up anymore. They don't even play the heads up. They don't even play with the actual teams anymore. All they do is play My Park. They've turned NBA 2K into an MMORPG, and that's what the fans are playing now. I don't even know why they put the heads up in the game. They might eventually say, why are we paying LeBron and all these players all this likeness if ain't nobody using it, though? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we're going to rebrand this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just forget about the NBA license. Because at this point, there ain't really no point for it. Right? Because nobody's really using it. Nobody. They're just making their own player, going to the park, shooting their own basketball. You don't need NBA players to promote that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, guys, gaming is in a tough position. I mean, like I said, people even buy it. I mean, look at Metroid Prime 4. That game was cross-gen and all, and that game still couldn't even eclipse 1 million sales. Even after that long wait, we already know Nintendo will never go back to making Metroid. They might do a 2D one, but in regards to 3D, they are done. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You guys keep saying exclusives is important, but if they're so important, then why nobody buying these games, though? Why nobody's buying them, man? I mean, at this point, gaming needs to stay multi-plat. You know? And I can guarantee with this new exclusivity strategy, expect less and less games for Sony and more studio closures. Because y'all, there's not going to have enough of you guys to buy these games. I'm telling you. You're barely buying them on PlayStation. And yet, for some reason, some of these games end up doing better on PC. But hey, like I said, take it from your brother Jeremy. Peace out.